Hello, it's Jeffrey Christian of CPM Group. I'm recording this for release on the 23rd of February. On Tuesday of this week, we did a video in which we laid out 6 big issues that institutional investors, the chief financial officers, chief investment officers, executive committees, investment management committees at institutional investors, sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, a whole range of funds, family offices, ask about the wisdom and the quantifiable wisdom of investing in commodities. And we laid these out. One of the smartest people I know as a retail investor or private individual investor in mining stocks over the last 50 some odd years called me up and said, "That's very interesting, Jeff, but what does that have to do with retail investors? Retail investors don't necessarily think that way." My view was, well, maybe they ought to. There's certain value there. In the early 90s, I was in Las Vegas at a conference, and a group of conference goers and I were going into a casino to gamble. And the bouncer stopped me at the door and said, "You can't enter. You fit the profile of a card counter." My colleagues asked me, "Are you a card counter? Are you the kind of guy who counts cards?" And I said, "I'm the kind of guy who says, not only do I count cards, I cannot understand why everyone else at the table is not counting cards. If the axioms that control the mathematics of a deck of cards allow you to skew the benefits into your favor by counting cards, why wouldn't you do that?" The same is true when it comes to investing in commodities. There are certain things that you can do if you're willing to put the intellectual effort into it that can help you do better. So yeah, these are central to institutional investors' approaches to investing in commodities. They may not be applicable to all retail investors or most retail investors. I don't know. But I'll make 2 points. Retail investors should be able to benefit by thinking through these issues, thinking this way. If you think about it, let's say that you're going through your kitchen cabinet and you're finding a lot of foods in the back of the cabinets that you haven't eaten for 10 years or so. Behooves you to throw them out. If you're going through your commodities investment work and you see that you've been listening to a lot of people on the internet who've been wrong for 10 years, it behooves you to stop listening to them. If the world hasn't collapsed in 10 years, 20 years, I know one guy who's been saying that the bond market's going to collapse since 1981. Yeah, you can safely stop listening to those folks. Go through these questions and say, what do I know about commodities? Right? Because the second point is, not only might these benefit you, retail investors should be aware that the bigger institutional investors that often account for most of the money being invested in commodities and other assets, they effectively are competing against retail investors in these markets. You're sitting at a table and somebody's counting cards and you're not. You're investing in a commodity market and someone has superior knowledge because they've thought it through much more methodically than you have. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. It's that simple. So while you might say, well, what does the methodology of an institutional investor have to do with my investing in gold and silver? It has everything to do with it. A, you can probably skew the table in your favor. And B, you ought to know that other people who are in that market are doing this. That's all I really have for today. It's kind of a short video. We will be doing our Silver Facts and Fantasies webinar online, free webinar. It's probably going to be 2 hours or so. We have already more than 100 questions that have been sent in, people asking us questions about silver or this and that. It's next Wednesday, the 28th of February, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can sign up at CPM Group's website, ask questions ahead of time. Then we'll be doing the PDAC reception Sunday, March 3rd in Toronto. And we're coming up on March when we'll be releasing our Gold Yearbook, Silver Yearbook in May, Platinum Yearbook in July. These are reports that have a tremendous amount of data and information that are produced by a company that is hired by its clients to tell them accurate views of the market, not to promote purchasing, investor purchases of gold, silver, and platinum. That's all I have for now. You can go to our website. You can read about our stuff. You can buy our yearbooks. You can pre-order the 2024 yearbooks. You can ask us to throw in a copy of the 2023 if you pre-order the 2024 so you can get a jump on it. And we'll be talking about things next week. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Take care of those around you. See what you can do to make the world a better place, because we'd all like to live in a better place. Take care.